Hey guys, what's up? This is Brando. I just want to make a quick video today showing my desktop settings, CrossFire settings, and my mouse settings. I've been getting a ton of questions about all those, so I figured I would just make a video on it and show you guys what I use. Alright, first off is my desktop settings. I play on 1920 by 1080 at 120 Hz refresh rate. I play at a 2 millisecond response time, which doesn't show on here, but that's what I use. As for my mouse, I use the Logitech G400S, which is the predecessor to the Logitech G400 or the Logitech MX518. I play on 400 DPI, 125 Hz polling rate or report rate, and I have acceleration turned off. In CrossFire, I would recommend using 125 just because if you play on 250, 500, or 1000 or anything over, if you move your mouse or crosshair left to right, you're going to get somewhat of a wavy motion that goes up and down while you move left to right, which is really bad. You don't want that. You want to make sure whenever you flick left to right, you're going left to right and you don't have to compensate for the extra movement of going up and down. So, use 125. I have acceleration off because that's another thing that messes with the gameplay. Let's say you move your crosshair from start of your mouse pad, which is right here, and for me, oh, that's way too far, but then your mouse pad's right here. So if you move it from there, if you move it really slow the whole entire distance, and then this is with acceleration on, if you move it really fast, you're going to go to way over there instead of to right here, just by moving the same exact distance. So it basically makes you move further when you move faster, which isn't like the best thing to do. You want to make sure your flicks are always consistent no matter how fast you move. So it kind of builds your muscle memory, so to speak, so whenever you flick left to right, if you do a 180 flick, you're going to make sure you hit your target because you're going to know how far to flick. Alright, that's it for that. So let's go to my CrossFire settings. I play on 1024 by 768 resolution. My color is set to 32-bit, my texture is on high. Bullet trace and bullet smoke are both on high. I have blood on, bullet trail on, and weather effects off. As for my mouse sensitivity, I play on 4 sensitivity in game, and I have a 31 zoom. Personally, right now I like playing on a slow sense. In the past, I've played on anything between 4 to 21, and I probably even played higher a long time ago. But I noticed from the point where I played in 21 cents and I lowered to 16, and I lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered, I became a lot more consistent. And I just like playing on 4 sensitivity for right now, so that's what I use. As for my crosshair type, I play on crosshair type A in yellow right now. The color doesn't really matter for me. I use all 3 of the colors just whenever I feel like changing the color. I used to use C crosshair. I used it for about 3 years, but as of like the last year almost, I've been using A crosshair. So that's what I'm going to stick with because I like it better. It's kind of strange because when you go from crosshair type C and you look at it in game, it's really dull, and then you go to crosshair type A and the color is just so much brighter. It stands out more. So that's a big plus to using it for me, just so I can spot it better on my screen. Okay, so I guess I'll give you guys some recommendations. I would start out by setting your mouse drivers to what I use. I would use 400 DPI, 125 Hz polling rate, and no mouse accel. And then as for the in-game sensitivity, that's going to take effort on your part to find the perfect fit for you. But I would recommend starting anywhere between 4 sensitivity to 16 sensitivity. I would recommend staying out of the 5 to 8 sensitivity range just because when CrossFire, like when you change channels from Alpha server to Bravo server or from Alpha server to Echo server or whatever, wherever you go, it changes. So like if you have your sensitivity set to 7 and then you change servers and you go in a game and you check it, it's going to be on 5 or 6 or 8 or whatever it's going to be on. It just automatically changes for some reason. So I would recommend on using 4 or above 8, so 9 to 16. Let's see here. It's kind of strange that it does that, but I don't know, there's no way to fix it. Something I would consider would be to make sure your mouse pad correlates with your sensitivity. So if you're playing on a low sense, you're going to want a big mouse pad. If you play in a fast sense, you can also use a big mouse pad, but if you don't have a big mouse pad, just make sure that you can do a 180-degree turn with the swipe across your mouse pad. That way, if anyone comes up behind you, you can just turn around and kill them. If you play at something slower than that, then, or let's say you have a tiny mouse pad and you're playing on a somewhat decent sense, but you can't do a 180 still, I would probably recommend against that, just because it's kind of putting you at a disadvantage. If you want to play in a slow sense and you don't have a big mouse pad, I would definitely invest in it. I use the SteelSeries QCK Plus mouse pad. It's about 12.5 inches by 10.5 inches, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone that uses slow sensitivity, high sensitivity, doesn't matter. I would still recommend it to anyone that plays competitive gaming. As for a crosshair type, I can't really recommend anything for there. Use what works best for you. I used to not be able to use A crosshair when I first started out, so that's why I use C crosshair. It made more sense for me to just aim at the head and shoot with the C crosshair, just because the circle of the C was just on their head. And now I can use A crosshair really good, so that's what I like to use. So I can't really recommend anything. Color wise, I think green stands out the best on the most maps, so maybe use green, but I don't know 100% about that. But I believe that's about it for this video, guys. If you thought this video was helpful, make sure to drop a like. If you have any additional questions, make sure to comment below and I will make sure to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.